Okay, we're going to do a quick slip cover or pillowcase kind of for your replacement cover for your outdoor cushion. So outdoor cushion is here. You can see it's still wrapped in batting. You can wrap your stuff in batting, just makes it cushier. So how I measure is I put the cuss on here, make sure the sides go at least halfway up. This goes more than halfway up on either side. So sometimes what I'll also do is this one, like on those, see how this wraps around? I know now that that will cover the half of this and at least half of this, minimum. So that's fine. So then I can cut this straight up. So then this side, you have straight. And then what you need to do is the same for the other side. And how you do that is, pull this up. Pull that up, right there like that. So you want to make it a little bit more because you're going to make an envelope, like a pocket. So that ought to be more than enough to get this on. So now, I'm going to lay these side by side. Cut here. Along this edge. Cut along this edge, top and bottom. Doesn't have to be super fancy because you're going to zigzag or serge the side if you're fortunate enough to have a serger. I don't have a serger, but I have a zigzag on my machine. With this fabric though, you don't really need a serger. You don't need to zigzag it. Then I'm going to come around and cut straight across here. If you use the same scissors for fabric, like I have labeled fabric, then you will not have a problem.
Hey, Mom.
Hi. Now, everything else is done inside out.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is fold the fabric 9 1/2. One side should be hanging over a little bit. And you might want to make a finished edge. What I do is I'll fold this over like this. Couple times. That's your finished edge. And then you can do a straight stitch straight across. I'm going to do that real quick right now. I already have white in my machine. You can see it, I improvise for everything. So. And I have a heavy duty in here, even though this material, needle, which is the purple needles, even though you really don't need heavy duty. At some point I somehow just let go of the whole overload, but that's fine.
Mom.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna back over a few stitches. Oh, I forgot I turned that needle down just in case I was turning. Cut it on the machine. Now, what we're going to do is do inside the inside. So you see the inside, I use basically a white type pattern. This has this little tan speck in it. That's only because if it's next year, if your materials get damaged or moldy, you can just sprinkle that in with bleach and put them in the yard under the sun, and they'll turn white again. If you use colors, that's not going to work too well with it. Even my slip covers were covered in bleach so much because I have little kids that spill stuff all over the place, and friends. They make a huge mess. So now you'll see this. See this, how it wraps here? Look, ta-da! I got a little extra, but that's extra is better than not enough. And then I can see, if I do it this way, this coming here. Do it this way. This soap covers here. So it should be like this. And I'm just going to straight seam the sides. Halfway. I do it with my thumbs. Halfway. I use my thumbs as a measurement. So thumb-wise, thumb-wise. That's how I'm doing it. And I covered this. See how this is covered? This is the one this is the good side. So it's covered by the back of the bad side. And when it's done, if this goes half to half, so I can put this a little bit more. You want to give a little bit of wiggle room, because if not, your material will crack out. Again, I'm going to use my mouth. Thumb difference. Second thought, I'm going to zigzag the edge of this, just in case it shows. I want it to look better. So you change your stitch. I want it to be a long stitch, and I want it close together, so it looks more finished if it shows through. And I did a horrendous job of cutting it. As you can see how choppy I did. Okay, I'm making the distance wider because that's why it's taking so long. Cutter on the side of your machine, and then you can see the difference here. See how close these stitches are? That was when I did the smaller stitch in, and then further apart to make it faster, just because I don't care. Okay, let me measure this again because I did not fold it over. That's about halfway there. This one has to be halfway here. Make it a little bit extra. Just because you need wiggle room. Wiggle room helps you in the end with getting this back together, back on. So here goes where this goes. Okay. Thank you, my handy assistant there. Stern and in. In the mouth again. Extra hands. If I could reach my feet up here, I would do that too. You can use pins too. Pins annoy me. I'm impatient. I do it when I'm doing like serious stuff, but this is like a super simple. Oh, shit. Snap it. Forgot to change my stitch back. I need to make sure it lines up. Overcast a little. Back stitch. Take it off. Cut it. Now we can do the other side, and we can do it. Flip it around so there's not so much room. So much of a problem. Make sure this is even. Looks fairly even to me. You? A handy assistant. Ooh, look on. Thumb difference?
Here. You hold this side, look.
One second. You're almost done.
Okay.
Oh my. Almost done. Almost done. Don't worry. Turning in. So, what we can do here is, got that half cover in there over there. Take it to the edges. Take it halfway down the edges. One second, almost done. Halfway down the edges, you take it like this. The width of the material. Width of the big. Look, can you see this width? So I'm making it like this. So you can see the middle there. It's going to be the width. I'm going to straight stitch that corner. Okay, you can turn it off. All four corners, as you can see, with the triangles. So you see that's how it'll turn up. And this is the height of the actual cushion. So with the batting. And the batting, I said earlier, makes it smoother. It won't be as boxy looking. This will make it look more professional. So I did cut up some of the extra stuff. You can cut these parts if you want. You don't have to, but it just sometimes makes it easier, less bulky. This material is not super bulky, and I don't care about cutting it off. So the only tricky part is, since I'm doing this on the back, you can see that it's hard. It's difficult to construe how tight that's gonna be in the corner, because it's gonna meet at the corner. So hopefully this works. We'll see when we put it on. Turn it inside out, and then you fold this in half to put it on, and you fit it on. Okay. So as you can see, it's not perfect. It's a little loose, but I don't want it to be. My kids will jump around. It's easier to put on if it's a little loose. This, you can see, that's what the corners look like. So when it's going to be sitting on the sofa outside, this will be the front. So it'll look more little. The edges are on the sides, see the seams, and then the opening is on the back. So as you can see, this opening goes down here and tucks in, and then you have the top. But I'll put that on the bottom actually. And you're done. You can make it a little tighter. Once you put it on, if you want it more tighter, you can go back in, take it off, sew in a little bit more. I always do my finger, so like if I did it, I would still leave like this a little bit. You need some wiggle room. So this could be tighter, but this is good enough for me.